Clock that runs on time here.
That's too easy.
Steven's car.
They're all different, so it
Oh,
just.
Zach says we're
Just
good.
pick one, they're all different.
Yeah, he's appealing to.
All right, we're good. Zach says we're ready to go, so.
Going on.
Jim. Okay. Welcome everybody to the May 27th, 2025 Planning Board meeting. We'll let a couple people walk in just real quick. So on the agenda tonight, we have minutes of April 22nd. We've got communications, which is for a variance appeal, which we're not dealing with here. No old business, new business, formal site plan review, Just Right, Inc. and Autumn Inc. Bakerstown Road, map 13, lots 9B and 10. Formal site plan review for BD Solar, Auburn. Map 4, lots 16 and 15-1. And we have two formal shoreland zoning applications, one at 10 Spruce Drive, map 36, lot 16. The other one at 16 Cardinal Lane, map 37, lot 14. And then some bookkeeping stuff on our end of some findings of facts. And then hopefully we can get through this all tonight. So it's more than what we normally have. So with that, we have the minutes of April 22.
I just had one thing that we should change, a typo in the, about third paragraph down. You had, as far as no public hearing, and you said no plan, it should be no sidewalk.
Yes.
Yep, so, anyway, other than that.
Which one are you looking at? Oh,
Anyway, we can pencil it in, whatever it is.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll
You might
just.
want to,
Yeah.
and also continues now saying, you didn't have a site plan for that?
No.
Yeah. Just keeps us on our toes, sir.
Absolutely.
You know we read it then.
That's right.
So I just circled that and issued like
Great.
whatever. Anybody else have anything on this?
Nope.
If not, I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes from, which one, April 22nd, 2025, as presented with the one correction.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? All right, we're going to go into new business. Formal site plan review, Just Right, Inc. and Autumn Inc., 0 Bakerstown Road, map 13, lots 9B and 10.
Good evening. My name is Rick Meek. I'm with Paradigm Consultants. The applicant here with me.
Just
The site is on Bakerstown Road, Route 11, located about, the site entrance is located about 3/4 of a mile south of the North Raymond Road intersection, about a half a mile from the Jericho Way intersection. As proposed, we have a private street serving 3 lots. The road is approximately 1,080 feet long, ending in a hammerhead. We do have an entrance permit with the DOT for the location at Bakerstown Road. Maximum grade will be no more than 10%, 60-foot right-of-way, 20-foot travel width, 3-foot shoulders on each side. The crown of the road will be 1/4 inch per foot per the standard. With a maximum grade of 2% coming off of Bakerstown Road for 75 feet. And we have a wetland crossing with about 2,000 square feet of wetland impact. The 2 lots that primarily serves are Lot A and B, as we're calling them, for Just Right. Lot A is on the left of the road, Lot B is on the right. Each of those lots will be served with private wells and subsurface wastewater disposal systems. We have some forested buffers proposed to control for phosphorus. And we did receive comments from the review engineer, and most of those comments are of, cleanup, I would say, for the plans, except for one. Jim noted that we have 20,000 square feet of impervious, which would require a DEP permit and a stormwater permit, because the Thompson Lake is a watershed most at risk. That was an oversight on my part. So what we were proposing to do was actually reduce the length of road frontage, of actual road construction. The goal would be to be under 20,000 square feet of impervious. And so instead of extending the road and Hammerhead to the end of the right-of-way, we would cut that, the length of the road to about 500 and almost 600 feet. Locate the Hammerhead here in an easement, which apparently is allowed by the ordinance, and that would reduce our impervious to less than 20,000 square feet. The driveway for these lots would be here for lot B, and somewhere in this area for lot A. We would prohibit, access off of Bakerstown Road because of the site distance concerns and whatnot. So those would be prohibited from accessing Bakerstown Road. They would have deeded access rights for the right-of-way, and we're extending the right-of-way to provide at least 400 feet of frontage for the Autumn Inc. piece that's being retained. Autumn Inc. would own the fee interest in the right-of-way, but they would gain their right-of-way from the frontage from that right-of-way. That's all I really have. If I try to keep it short and answer any questions that you may have.
So it's only going to service these two lot A and B at this time, is that what you're saying?
The constructed part of the gravel way would only serve lots A and B. In the future, if there's a proposal for development on lot A, we would certainly have to come back, I would assume, to the board. Or no.
Okay.
And there wasn't anything else being built at this time that you're planning on?
Not this time. We did have a proposal earlier this year for subdivision of that piece, but Brian has changed directions and like to get this private street and these two lots developed.
Okay.
Can I see the small one, I guess.
Remove the
The small one.
small,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe tied up. Somewhere. So what's the width of the travel way again?
Per private way standards, it's the two 10-foot lanes, so 20 feet of travel way
And 3-foot shoulders?
and two 3-foot shoulders. Now, as it's only serving two lots, if there's any reduction that we could have in that would be, limit the amount of impervious even more.
Well, let's not try to play coy about all this stuff. If you want it reduced to decrease your impervious, this was obviously a plan to do a major subdivision, correct?
Was, yes.
Yeah. So by decreasing that, all you're gonna do is, if we do allow that, it's gonna create an issue in the future.
That would have to be corrected.
That would have to be corrected.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
It's, seems like we go round and round on some of this stuff with different developments in town, just to make the initial cost a little bit cheaper and to get around some of the, this is not subdivision, but to get around impervious, and then when things come back, it's either gonna be an issue for a future developer, then that's their own issue, it's their own problem, but,
Have you sent copies of this to the road commissioner for comment?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. But-
I haven't.
Well, no, because in here it says that if it's a private way, that the street is being built is not not public. It says the plans, the public street, it's not going to be a public street, the municipality should send them to the road commissioner for review and comment.
Well, it's off a state road, not a town road, so.
It says, well, it's not a public road. There's plans for streets that are not proposed to be accepted as public streets. So this is, what is it?
It's private.
So it's not a public street.
I did talk to the head of Public Works when we were thinking of coming off the North Raymond Road for a subdivision. And he had no issue with it on that town road.
Yeah, it probably won't, I'm just saying that's one of the things in here, it gives, under 805.3, as far as board action, asking to take, have
Well,
that.
we certainly
Take a
will
look
talk
at
to
it.
him
Yeah.
if you wish.
I don't know, maybe Jim came up with other things, do you have anything on the Jim?
well, there are a bunch of things in there.
That's all that's true.
Probably, I guess you're waiting to turn. I'm speaking out of turn, sorry.
So Lot B does not have enough frontage on 11.
I think both lots do. Correct me if I'm wrong, is the frontage requirement 200 feet?
200 feet.
Yeah, so Lot B has, well, I take that
I
back,
think it's
so,
the same as 170 something, right?
well, 182, but,
182.
so I was including this curve for the right of way, but maybe you technically can't, so
You can.
182 would be the frontage.
So that's why you're picking up.
Correct.
I see that big map. For some reason, I thought all of the lot that's not gonna be serviced by this was somehow associated with a lip spreader for the whole. I might be misremembering something, but I thought that was weird.
Yeah, on the treatment plan, we show some treatment measures, including the level lip spreader.
For some reason, I thought I saw that whole thing, that whole lot being. Yeah. That's right. There's one mistake in
Was it on this?
that. No, it was, I thought, when I saw this, it looks like it comes in here and services this, I thought this was coming back with proposals for these two lots, and this whole lot was dealing with storing the water down here.
Okay.
And I must have misread it, so I thought it came through here, which didn't leave enough area for everybody. Actually, I can't find that right now. No, this is what I'm looking at right here.
Proposing stone forested buffers, primarily, but there are some level spreaders for, in the current, in the proposed design, there's a 1,000-foot long gravel road, we had, it's up some level spreaders, starting to buffers, I think both right and left, once you got past the wetlands.
Well, I guess that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this representation here.
Yep.
So if this hashed everything over here, which says it's a forested buffer, how do you have any development area inside that?
The greens are the developable areas.
So if the greens are the developable areas, and you're talking about 3 lots, 2 are serviced by the private road, there's nothing to be developed here. That's what I'm trying to get at, is this is all wetland here, and this is a forested buffer.
Correct.
And you're dumping everything in here into the forested buffer, which has to deal with,
No, the forested buffer closer to Bakerstown Road is getting that portion of the road that comes off Bakerstown Road to the wetland, before the wetland. The forested buffer on the opposite side of the wetland is serving the road west or north of the wetlands. There's two forested buffers. One on the right side, on the left side, which is the piece you're talking about near Bakerstown Road. So the road pitches from Bakerstown Road into the site. So that portion of that road would be treated with that buffer on the left. Across the wetland, there's no real treatment that can be provided crossing the wetland. And then when you get to the opposite side of the wetland, there's some level spreaders and forested buffers on that side of the road, on that side of the wetland.
so once again, just me being an idiot, when somebody has a map displayed, this is a forested buffer to deal with stormwater. And I see a little dashed area here, that's not part of that, I would assume that's the developable area, and you're saying that's not the case. You're saying this whole thing is not this is not a forested wetland that's gonna deal with the stormwater off Route 11. And the hypothetical building site is what you have here, which is this little dashed area here.
Yeah, those are building setbacks, so they're shown.
So these are setbacks, but once again, if you're dealing with a forested wetland of everything shedding this way off from 11, and you're showing me in something else that is now taking care of all the runoff, where is there a buildable site here other than the setback site?
There isn't. I can take those setbacks off, it's not, if it's in a forested buffer, it's not really going to be a buildable area.
Okay, well, that's what I'm confused about, because I thought we were talking about 3 lots. One was,
Two lots.
well, the 2 lots are serviced by the private road, but I thought you were talking about 3 lots.
The third lot is the Autumn Inc. piece that's in the back. The 10.
Oh, I apologize. So the 3rd lot is just the big,
Yeah, so
reserve
that,
that lot.
I'm sorry, that whole piece, that,
that whole piece is undevelopable.
yeah, this
Right.
lot line here,
Right.
that is an existing lot line.
Mhm.
Brian is proposing to transfer this piece from Autumn Inc. to Just Right, to make this one, this is one lot on the right, on the left side of
Okay.
the private street.
Okay. I mean, once again, I read through some of the stuff, and when I read the legends is what I read, and that's how I figure it out, because it seemed to me, that's what I didn't understand, is it was 3 lots, and when I saw one of the lots was a whole forested wetland, it's not.
I
No,
apologize.
no, that's fine, we came to an understanding of what's happening now, and I don't know if anyone else misunderstood it the way I did, but
The
that's,
way it was drawn, I misunderstood, so thanks for asking.
yeah, well, especially when I saw the colored stuff, a little bit more. Okay. So that one on the left's all gonna be 1 lot, this other one, gotcha. And you took down the road to meet the impervious then, on the DEP stuff. I didn't realize it was that steep going in there. So on lot B, what is the size of the buildable area on that?
I don't have an exact, but it's probably an acre. Maybe 3/4 of an acre.
No, 2 acres.
That built, this,
Well,
is that
if
lot?
I'm looking here, it's saying it's like 2.01.
I'm sorry,
basically, right?
lot
Right.
B,
Yeah,
lot B is more like, half to 3/4 of an acre.
lot B to me seems like it's saying it's 2 acres of land. Just reading that.
It's 2 acres total.
The whole parcel is 2 acres,
Confusing 'cause it's
but the
in the
buildable
box.
area is much smaller.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's outside of the wetland, it's 2 acres of land.
Yeah.
They got-
Okay.
I think there's all one lot, but you didn't show it, that's the other one you showed. Thinking that was the 2.0, this now is just entire lot, I guess. That's just the vertical section.
So, I don't know if we want to go through all of Jim's comments, or if you had a chance to read the third party stuff.
I have, yep.
So why don't we go through that, Jim, feel good to reach out at any point. I'll let you address some of these issues then.
Sure, first comment is about including the bearings and distances for the private way on the sheet that you have up there. I'm sorry, the other sheet, the full-size
Full.
sheet, the one that would be recorded. We have no issue with that. And also adding a cross-section of the road, we can certainly do that as well. Comment number 2, I just had no comment.
Right, it's just in the future, if that becomes a full-blown subdivision.
Right, I mean, they can come in overhead to where it's gonna service lot A,
Right.
and then from there going forward, it's up to us if
Right.
we wanna force it to the
Exactly.
ground. Yeah, and once again, it's not, I understand from a developer's point of view, you try to make things easier, cash flow is king. But this seems like this is not the only thing that's happening here, but we have to review it as this is the only thing happening here. So just realize going forward that if this turns into more lots and so forth, it's gonna be up to us whether or not we're gonna accept above ground
Yes. and-
going forward, so.
And I understand, your concern.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen next week?
Certainly. Yep. Okay.
Regarding the road name, we haven't discussed it, but we understand that we need one, so we'll come up with a road name.
Right before the final, that we have to put that forward, yeah.
We do have an entrance permit. My mistake again with not submitting that as part of the application, but there is an existing site entrance permit at that location.
Rick, what's the site distance there, do you know?
I don't know offhand, but
It gets kind of squirrely as you kind of.
I think that one's fine because I think we saw it in another packet, honestly, that it's
It's
quite.
50 down through there, so it's gonna be at least probably 550. So
No, it was closer to 6 something going.
Okay. Just be good to have it on the plan.
yeah, sure.
Yep.
Number 5, yeah, Jim is correct, 20,000 square feet is the threshold since Constant Lake is the watershed most at risk, so that's why we're discussing reducing that length of that constructed part of the road to reduce that impervious.
One question with that, I know you had a colorized version here, dealing with the whole entire section of road. Now that you're cutting that back, are you going to cut those buffers back, or are you gonna retain them?
We still have to make sure we can get that stormwater, that phosphorus removal to work, so.
Because then the other one, question I had, which maybe I didn't spell out, on lot B, you've kind of got buffers corralling it, so I assume somewhere in there you're gonna have to have a corridor to get to the lot.
Driveway, yeah, driveways are typically allowed across the buffer.
Depending on how long.
Well, once again, yeah, we've got two people that are from two different perspectives here, so, I mean, is it allowed or is it not allowed?
It's allowed, but it can't like sever through the middle of a buffer. You try to minimize the impact of the buffer. So I guess that, I think there's space there.
And that's what I didn't understand when you wrote that. Was it A or, no, it was actually A and B is still, it's got level spreaders and floor ceilings, so.
So I think if you come up, you see where they, if you look at the treatment plan, they've got a kind of a red column and an orange column in the road. If you come up where the red column is there, I think you can minimize the impact of that right there.
You're talking on lot A?
Yeah, where the buffer's not there. Because I think the other piece of that buffer is really treating Route 11 and the way it slopes.
So it's the same for lot B then?
Well,
You got,
yeah,
I mean, that's why,
that's a good point now that,
I mean, it seems like everything's shedding
well,
away
Lot
from
B,
the road.
yeah, well, Lot B, they do have a big green blob up higher up. But where the road's cut off, they're gonna have to curve that driveway to get up into that buildable area of Lot A. So just show us where you're putting the driveway so we can make sure we're not cutting the buffers in two.
So that's comment number 6, I'm assuming.
Yep.
7, regarding stormwater, yeah, we can certainly provide sizing for that culvert and a statement regarding stormwater pre and post. Number 8, I read in the ordinance that the 50 by 50 turnaround is allowed. Correct me if I'm wrong, I was reading from 807.2.6.a.
I'll go by the detail in the back.
It discusses the right-of-way or easement area of the turnaround side branch shall be at least 50 feet by 50 feet.
Yeah, you're right on that, it's just the easement's gonna
Would
be,
you, would you say
easement's gonna be.
807?
281.
80,
Page
281.
oh, 281, oh, page 281.
Right at the top.
I believe that's always the case, because we pick up 150 feet when people do that.
Yeah, just that the detail in the back says 60 by 60, but that's, I assume the word will override the detail. Again, that was on.
The next comment, just have my notes, but
That's just the typical private street note, it says it won't be accepted.
sure, and yeah, so if in the future we need to upgrade the road, it would have to be certainly inspected and all that information have to be provided so that it meets the town standards. Comment number 10, Autumn Inc. will retain ownership of the right-of-way. Number 11, we can certainly add the zone line.
Yeah, that Village 3, and I'm not exactly sure where that limited residential is, but I know it kind of slices down.
It cuts through the back of the lot,
Yeah, it's-
somewhat similar to the floodplain line, so it's really not, it's nothing that we were planning to build in, but I'll put that line on the plan. Or
Your
maybe-
driveway, none of your driveways are gonna come into that, I don't think, but I don't know where you're short now, if that's an issue or
Yeah, so the driveway would come off after we complete that curve, basically, at least from there, there towards the end of the road. And that buffer, based on the zoning map, that buffer or that limited residential district ends, tangent to that curve. But we can add it to the plan for clarity. And then the last one was about performance guarantee, and I think that's at the discretion of the board.
We did receive something, didn't we, from the bank?
Yeah, we gave an
Yes,
estimate.
it's in there.
Yeah, no, there's something.
I don't remember, did you submit it with the last plan, the PBR for the stream crossing?
No.
So we probably should have a copy of that as well.
Well, it's undetermined whether it's a stream, so it's certainly wetland impact, but we don't know if it's a stream or not.
I thought I saw a PBR for stream crossing there that Brian had shown me.
Well, I'm sorry,
Did you have a stream crossing PBR for that?
I did,
How long ago was that?
I didn't agree it was a stream,
Well, that's not.
on the safe side, I got one.
How long ago did you get that?
Um,
It's
Probably
been at
a
least
year ago.
Oh, a year.
I took the course, and I figured I might as well get it. But I didn't agree it's a stream, I don't think it is.
So do you want a copy of that for the application?
It should be submitted.
It
with
should
the-
be submitted with it, for sure.
Oh. But as far as it being a stream, that's, DEP's call.
I think that was all the comments from Jim.
Can we go back to the new proposed cul-de-sac? Or
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead? Are you gonna change I think there's a level lip spreader right there.
Certainly have to check to make sure, yes, we have to make sure that works, but the goal would be to get under the 20,000 square feet.
Right.
Is that something that could be waived?
So,
Is that a DP rule?
yeah, it's part of our phosphorus treatment. That being said, the majority of the impervious going to that level spreader is now going to be gone in this layout.
It's gone in the short term, but it may be big.
Well, I mean,
It's
that's a
plenty
polite way of
short-term,
saying what I
long-term.
was gonna say, Jim, and everybody knows I'm not polite. I mean, going forward, if this road gets expanded, that part of the hammerhead is gonna get ripped up and be replaced with a level spreader, correct?
Yeah, most certainly.
I mean, it's gonna have to be, because that's obviously why you stripped this out. You stripped this out partially due to money, partially due to
Strip, what do you,
this amount of road frontage.
to get the frontage for the autumn ink piece, yes.
Correct, but it all had to do with
20,000 square feet.
the 20,000 square feet DEP thing.
Yes. Yeah,
So once you, if anything happens in the future, something's gonna have to go back there, so this will all get ripped up then, hypothetically. It's just like Brian did with a P cul-de-sac down on Wedgewood because of doing phasing and so forth, but I
We
mean,
had temporary turnaround.
right, but that was always known to be temporary. This is now hypothetically just two lots going into a big piece of property and whatever, so. I mean, all I care about is going forward, that there's gonna be capacity to deal with this. And we can't make that a condition, I'm just saying that outright, So when we come back, we don't have somebody as an aggrieved party saying, oh my God, I can't do this because of whatever. I'm just saying, don't shoot yourself in the foot knowing if you're gonna do something in the future.
Certainly.
Because we don't appreciate that, because it's happened a lot in this town, not with this developer, but with just everybody that's trying to make things work so that they can, keep on keeping on, so. Other than that, I mean, I don't see a major issue here, Scott, do you? Other than getting some of these pieces addressed.
Obviously, I assume you'll have to redo.
I mean, we're gonna have to
all of
have
that.
something
Once that changes, it's gonna change some other stuff.
Sure.
Obviously.
correct. I mean, is it close enough that we can do it? Or do you wanna see it? Should we, I'm thinking we should see it again.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot. I mean,
There's a lot of moving pieces here too.
Right.
Do you provide forgive me for my ignorance about your procedure, do you offer do you go through preliminary approval for a site plan and then come back for final, or do you do it all at once, or?
Typically, if we're gonna be sticklers, a site plan's 3 meetings. I don't think we've had 3 meetings on a site plan in forever, because we're trying to be amenable to developers and other people that are trying to bring businesses into town. So I don't remember if your first iteration or second iteration or third iteration of a huge subdivision created a start or stop point on that, because here's a start point now. So I think at the second meeting, another meeting addressing our concerns and the third-party reviewers' concerns, any little things that might not be correct at that point, we could conditionally approve that you could deal with the professional staff instead of coming back before the
Sure.
board.
Yeah.
I think that's amenable, it's what we do a lot of the times.
Okay.
So,
I'm wondering, moving forward, as this thing progresses, like Jim said, you're gonna tear the road up in the future? It could happen, but what's gonna happen in the future? Is the association gonna break up so the town has to accept this road in
no, it's
20 years, 25 years?
It's, as it said,
Could it
Jim,
happen?
it's gonna be written on the plat, that it's
Yeah.
gonna be a private road owned by the association, which it's not gonna be owned by the association now, it's gonna be owned by Mr. Merrill.
Right,
Lots are gonna be sold, and then if any other development goes forward, there's gonna have to be a road association dealing with that issue and bringing everything up to current standards for private roads.
right,
And then everyone's gonna have to sign off on that being a road association. So it's never gonna be part of the town unless they bring it up to
right.
town
Yeah,
standard.
it'd have to
paved,
be, yeah,
this,
it's
that,
understandable.
I think the association consists of Brian as Autumn Inc. owning that road. Lots A and B have deeded access to that, which they have deeded access. They don't have maintenance responsibilities of that unless that's written in the deed, but
But we've had associations in this town that have dissolved over time, and the town had to pick up but they, the board looked it over to see if it's correct standards before they can accept it.
sure.
Because we don't want to get involved in rebuilding something that should have been built right in the beginning.
I think I understand that.
So I think there's just a few small issues to get basically cleaned up. A couple new plats, a couple new things. Jim, you have anything else other than what your original comments were? And I think if that gets cleaned up, and even if there's a few, as I say, a few small things that fall through the cracks, we can conditionally approve it so we can start doing all this. Any other issues from anybody here?
We need the road commissioner to sign off on it? I mean,
Well,
that's-
we'll need the road
say that.
commissioner to sign off on it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that could be something he'd bring in the interim for the next meeting. If he has that review it, right?
No, because he has to make changes and.
Right, it's
all
gotta,
that.
it's gotta all be changed.
Right, no, I
After
understand.
we get.
But
this.
once they get it, they'll send it out to
Right.
appropriate people.
Okay, all right.
I guess before we table this, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak about this at all? There are people dealing with the last subdivision, I just wanted to make sure that we, didn't forget anybody? Okay. So, well, I just want to be clear, are you understanding?
Just one point of clarity, am I submitting to the road commissioner, or is that,
No, it, provide everything to the professional staff, they will submit that on your behalf, but
okay,
it's gotta be into them, just like the normal application.
Sure.
And then they'll forward that along to
sure.
the parties. Okay, you good with everything else that we
Yes,
discussed? Okay. great. I guess I'll take a motion to table this, I guess, to the next meeting.
I make a motion that we table the formal site plan review for Just Right Inc. and Autumn Inc. on Bakerstown Road, map 13, lots 9B and 10, until further information is provided.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Did I miss this earlier, Sarah? Did we say that everybody had a voting member tonight?
We talked about it before the
Before we
meeting
wanna come
started.
back.
Before
but-
camera.
Yes.
Anyhow, Heather, our alternate, is a voting member tonight on everything, so I apologize about that, that's my fault. Okay, formal site plan review. BD Solar LLC, off Lewiston Junction Road, map 4, 1615-1. Wish I was still in the timber harvesting business, you could have bought a bunch of my trees with this application again.
Good evening, Sean Dees with Daily Ward, representing the applicant. So this project's been in front of the board several times now, I think dating back to 2019, 2020, somewhere around then. Been approved, extension requests, I think expired, approved again, and we're at a point where the last approval or extension is expired, and we're here to request a new permit. Been delayed through cluster studies through ISO New England. That study was finally completed, and the project was approved as part of that, and now it's currently under, being delayed by improvements that CMP needs to make before they can connect to the grid. So that, the latest from CMP is those improvements are expected to be done, I believe the third quarter of 2027 would be when they would be able to connect the project. So I can go into a little bit of summary of the project. I'm not sure how many people are new on the board and aren't familiar with this, but it's about a 40-acre, 10-megawatt solar project. Majority of the project is in Auburn. The town line between Auburn and Poland is here, so this back piece of the project is in Poland. Access to that back piece is through Auburn, through the part of the project that's within Auburn. We have DEP permits, we have Army Corps permits for wetland impacts. Those are all still valid, expiring. I can't remember if it's the later, I think it's in 2026, those would be expiring if they haven't started construction yet. But as of now, the plan is to start construction about a year from now. And looking at the ordinance, I think that falls within, assuming we got approval with a new permit, I believe we have 12 months to apply for all the building permits. Once those are obtained, 6 months to start construction. So assuming CMP stays on the schedule that they've been told, they can start construction on this project in about a year. So then, when construction is complete, the grid updates have been done so they can energize the project and connect to the grid.
So is the grid update dealing with the transmission line or the substation, or both?
I do not know exactly what the infrastructure improvements are. I know this project had some information on a letter the client prepared as part of the Auburn permitting, and I believe the project is on the hook for about $1.5 million worth of upgrades.
Has anything changed in this proposal?
Nothing has changed since the last time. I actually noticed the application that we submitted this time actually has incorrect start dates because we didn't change, I didn't notice those in there, and they say starting in 2024, those would actually be 2026 dates now. But, yeah, there's been no changes to the plan. Nothing since the last time it was in front of the board.
Because we have another one that's basically across the way from you, that they changed some stuff and slipped some things through and whatever, so.
Right.
This is basically the same application you presented to us, it's just our time frame ran out on you. You had to get new permits. Plus you had to do, in case the new ordinance passed, of our solar change to our ordinance in the town.
Correct. I think, was there discussion,
is-
is it a change to the ordinance or potentially moratorium or?
No, it's just a change in the ordinance of the amount of acreage that you can have.
Okay.
Don't think that would impact him because he's got a relatively small amount in Poland. The big chunks in Auburn.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is it, I can't tell from that because I'm looking at a 10 megawatt thing and I'm looking at maybe,
The
I'm looking
percentage
at
of it that's in
maybe
Poland?
8 to 10% in Poland.
Yeah.
So you're looking at maybe a megawatts in Poland, if that? And if it's a megawatt, even if they're trackers, they're gonna be under 4 acres.
But you can see the dates on the plan, that,
Yeah.
those are the dates from the last plan that you approved. I think the last change was when we
So did
modified the
anything
setbacks.
expire within the Auburn's ordinance that made you bring this back, or was it just because of ours and the permits on this side expired?
Right, so we.
Or did it on both sides expire?
It's expiring on both sides.
So you're
We're back in
representing
front
this
of,
over
back
there?
in front of Poland first.
Yep.
We haven't submitted anything back to Auburn yet, but
Okay.
I'm not anticipating
Yep.
changes there. I know they had, after we first got approval from Auburn, they also developed a solar ordinance, which we addressed those prior to coming back to Poland
Yep.
the last time, so.
No, it's the wild, wild west on some of this stuff right now. so. I really want to do a Carl Doucette, can I? Can I just say everything's on file and just go down through this? Make it so we're not spending an hour.
Jim's got a question.
Mr. Seymour,
The only question I have two questions. One,
do you have one or do you have two?
I have two.
All right, let's start with the one.
The one, last time we had to get a waiver setback for setback in the rear. So I don't know if that was on file for a request of that in writing. We have to do it again, that's all.
I thought we addressed that, I thought we changed this, it didn't require a waiver when they came back the second time.
No, they did. We reduced it down to 50 feet.
Oh, we reduced it from, okay,
Yes,
so
that was
yeah.
a waiver request, but you granted it, it was allowed, but they had to request a waiver for it.
I guess just to dot everything to, so
Right.
people
That's
can't
all
come
I'm
back.
saying.
Oh, no, I appreciate that, because I thought I know we changed it, but we did the waiver request to allow the setback to go down, but this is a new application, so we should do that again. Thank you, Jim.
And the other one is the financial letter is the same, and it was a condition previously, and I don't know if we just adopt the old conditions or not, but the financial capacity is 7 years old, so that will have to be updated as well.
What are you saying, things cost more now?
Just a little bit.
I think that would be reasonable.
Yeah, I think it should be. First letter.
Oh, and speaking of which, if that's the case, then I understand what the developers want to do and so forth, and what they have to deal with DEP, the town, and potentially even the landowner about the decommissioning bond. But 260 something grand to decommission this because you're expecting labor in the state of Maine to be at $20 an hour to decommission stuff. I mean, I understand you want to put out the smallest bond that you have to because it's not, you know, it's not doing anything. But, I mean, this is a 10 megawatt facility.
No, you're gonna get,
You know, this isn't like the community solar farms that people are looking at doing right now, but, I don't think that's up to us to set that number anyhow, it's through the DEP, correct? Through you guys?
It's
Yeah,
going to
like
be with DEP, I mean, the town could, I've seen towns have a separate, either require a separate bond or a separate way they calculate what the decommissioning cost is.
I don't
We
think,
very well may, we may need to go back to DEP to get a new decommissioning permit anyway.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, DEP set the value and the requirement, the town was the agent holding the actual bond, the way I understood that. Is that correct?
For Poland or for everywhere?
Everywhere.
Not necessarily,
No,
no.
I didn't know if DEP, usually DEP doesn't hold the bond, that's why.
They don't prefer to, but sometimes the towns don't want to either, so they leave it up to the state.
well, it's like anything else, if you're a general contractor and I'm a subcontractor coming to you, they want to be named as a secondary and so forth, so I mean, the town should be named as a secondary on it, even if DEP's holding it. Because I mean, and I guess I'm not gonna complain about this, because this is only the part that's within Poland, so this is
Right.
under a megawatt, or it's gotta be under a megawatt from the size of that, so 250 is gonna be fine on that, even if the town, you just want the town to be informed of things that if DEP gets something from CMP saying they're not fulfilling this, they stop production for 12 months, decommissioning now starts, that kicks something there, and then we get informed as well. So that's why yours is secondary named on.
absolutely, yeah.
They're just gonna rip stuff out of the ground and let it go back.
Our ordinance
I thought our,
requires a performance guarantee sheet in the form of a certified check payable to
Yeah,
town.
that's what I thought, because that was the DEP language that was kind of, I don't know if that's changed since we did that, but that was the language that came down from the DEP decommissioning that we instituted into our ordinance.
how long ago was that?
2022?
When we put this in the ordinance,
Yeah, 21,
That was the year
22?
after that, I'm assuming.
what would it say was, performance bond or guarantee for 125% of expected decommissioning costs.
It should be, to your point, only the portion for this town
Correct.
in, going up here.
God, Alan Parsons, how old are you?
I'm old kid, you.
You're getting my age.
It should be just for the portion in Poland.
Yeah, exactly, the part that's affected by us. That's why,
Would that be like a condition prior to issuance of a building permit?
I would assume so.
Yeah. Or occupancy or
Or, yeah, whenever you go on.
whatever you want.
You look at that, George,
I agree.
351.
What the different page is,
Yeah.
what the index is. Three,
That all
what do you have,
those
351?
351. C1. There are other options as well, a binding guarantee lease agreement.
You have to have the select board, select person sign off on it as well, is that what that's saying?
Yes. Because they're the ones holding it, not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's either a bond or irrevocable.
Letter of
line
credit.
line of credit, letter of credit.
Letter of credit.
Well, I guess that's speaking of DEP again, to figure out what they're giving out what the decommissioning costs are, so.
They cover them up from that.
All right. Just do that, I did just do that, I lost that.
It'll be faster than if you're gonna do it, Carl.
Well, I know, but I'm just looking at this, I mean, some of the stuff that normally applies to us doesn't apply to us, because it's coming in from the Auburn side. So once again, all the gates, everything, that's all coming in on the Auburn side, the knock boxes and all that other stuff, right? Construction drawings of roads, we have roads coming into our part of it, correct? So is there cross sections of that in here?
Coming in from Auburn.
There's the access road, the
Well, that's what I'm saying, cross, construction drawing of roads, utilities, I mean, how do you see that in here?
there's there should be a typical section.
Yeah, there
Of
should
the
be a
detail
typical-
sheet for the road.
I did see a
construction.
typical section there with, just from the layout to the whole. My memory, this application was first looked at planning board in, should I just put 2019, we'll call it?
I believe it was right, it was supposed to come in right at the time COVID
It was right,
hit.
because I remember we dealt with it,
Because we were over
we
there,
did it over there in 2020,
yeah.
So I'm just gonna put 2019 here. All right, can I get a motion on the checklist?
2020. Is what-
Yeah, I think there was an informational here, and then we went over there for the.
March, yeah, I think it was March 4th.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that the checklist for the formal site plan review, BD Solar Auburn LLC and BD Solar Lewiston Junction LLC, northwest of Lewiston Junction Road, map 4, lot 16 and 15-1. Is
That was a
complete.
question I had. Is it still the 2 lots, or is it just the 1?
The 2 lots or the 2 different entities?
No, there's
This
2,
was in
it's
Poland.
saying 2 lots in Poland, but didn't
Oh.
that get dropped at one point? The second lot? So it's only the 1 lot that it's part of now?
Yeah, probably that triangle piece back there.
Right.
Yeah, it's not on that
So
lot.
one of them,
Which one is it then?
I don't know.
Well, it's showing the 2 lots right there. Right?
That's 15, this one's 415-1,
Right,
so,
that must be
and the other one's
16.
16.
you know, 16.
So they both, you only need the 415, the 15-1,
No, the 16.
No,
16.
16.
just the 16?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do the motion again without?
No, keep going.
She's good.
You made the
We
motion.
corrected that, we corrected
On
it.
the checklist. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor? All right, before we go to the formals, anybody here have any questions about this? The butter or anything? Nope. Okay. The formal
So
with the waiver that Jim was talking about,
So we're doing an approval now at this point, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
the approval of the site plan.
All right. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the formal site plan review for BD Solar Auburn LLC and BD Solar Lewiston Junction LLC, Northwest Lewiston Junction Road, map 4, lots just 16, and I'll cross out that 50, so I won't think of it in there. And with the waiver that, for the waiver for the rear,
The
For the
setback.
reduction of the rear. bar.
reduction of the rear parcel.
Or setback. What was that?
No site walk and no public hearing.
Correct.
Somebody should second it.
No, I'm just right here, yeah, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Cheryl.
Discussion? All those in favor? Would you like to circular file all your information, keep it, give it to Lewiston, or I mean Auburn, or do you?
I would not.
Well, okay, well, we try to dispose of things this weekend.
Thank you.
All in the budget.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Still got
Yeah,
my
thanks for
old
coming
one.
in.
I don't know, back in 1920 or something like that. I still got the original one.
We got a little shredding in for you.
You good? Do you need plans to sign?
Yes, we will.
How many?
One paper, two paper, 1 mile.
Flying right through. Formal shoreline zoning application for Elizabeth and Katie Stokum. on Spruce Drive, map 36, lot 16. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Shoreline zoning application from Stewart. How are you, sir?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, nobody cares, so we'll just leave it at that.
Much more for you too down the road.
Well, glad you are busy.
If you don't like seeing me. All set, Jim?
All set, I got it.
All right. Lon Stewart Davis with Davis Land Surveying here representing Elizabeth Stokum, who has property at 10 Spruce Drive, shown as lot 16 in the town of Poland tax map 36. Property contains 8,800 square feet, consisting of 78 feet of frontage on Spruce Drive and 142 feet on the shore of Evergreen Pond. And is within the limited residential district. The current total existing impervious area is 2386 square feet, which includes all the existing house, taxis, decks and stairs and landings, retaining walls, shed, outhouse/outhouse, wooden deck, and on the shore, and the existing gravel drive, and that's at 27%. What they're planning on doing is we have on the it's not gonna work. This is the existing house right now, and we've included, there's a retaining wall here that kind of holds up the driveway. A small retaining wall back here that kind of holds up the back of the house. And then we have a set of decks with stairs, this little outhouse/shed, the deck down front, all this is gonna be removed. which gives them an additional, if you look down in the charts, the 30% would be at 418, and then all this stuff, the deck, the stairs, other decks, the retaining walls, add up to about 498, so they can technically add 960 square feet, which we're only proposing 753. Over here on the right-hand side in the proposed is the addition that's going to be going onto the house. Is basically the bottom floor, Elizabeth can correct me, is going to be kind of more of an open concept now.
Yes.
With a basement underneath, this cutout portion here, down below, coming out of the basement, is going to be a patio area. On the second floor will be a deck in this area, and then the rest of the structure, and then the set of stairs coming out of the side of the existing house now, front entrance, and then the side coming off the upper deck down to the ground. Over here in the driveway, we're going to loam and seed about another 35 square feet. Keep the numbers down to the 27% that they currently have. The current roof peak is 22.4, so I think in your package, we didn't get the full build-out plan. I think we just got the foundation, but I have copies here if you want to see all the elevations.
We have one of these too.
No, he's saying
No,
that
the
This is the house elevation, just
The
the
elevation.
floor plan.
Okay.
So I asked Scott today, and he said it was up to you guys if you wanted to
Yeah, that's
take a look at these. You want me to give them to you?
sure.
So most of this area is gonna sit on top of the existing driveway, and that'll be dug up and the foundation will go underneath. The proposed conditions are gonna be farther away from the shore than what's existing there now, taken off from that retaining wall. I believe all the numbers are in there, there's some photos in there. Flood zone doesn't come into play here, it's basically, there's no flood zone involved.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, you're removing the driveway to revegetate it?
Just, here in this corner of the house, this is all gravel now.
Okay.
So putting the building on top of that's gonna wipe out most of it, but we're gonna remove this little corner right here, it's about 35 feet. You're gonna loan and see this little corner and still have this, enough room to get 2 cars.
And that's existing gravel right now?
Yeah, this
Okay.
whole driveway is all gravel.
Okay. And you're removing the outhouse and the wooden deck and railing from existing?
What's that?
There's an outhouse and a wooden deck and railing that's not on the new proposal. Are both of those leaving?
All this stuff is leaving, the deck down front,
Yep.
this deck is down front, this little shed outhouse, these stairs, 2 sets of stairs, the retaining walls, all that's going, and then the 35 square feet of the driveway.
Okay.
Anybody else with any questions?
I didn't see anything else. Up there for me.
It's huge impervious, but it's gravel and exists. Scott, do you?
The only thing I saw was that the retaining walls and those stairs. I can't find anything on a previous site plan or any,
Stairs coming off the side or the stairs
the
going
stairs
down?
going down towards the lake through that retaining wall. It wasn't part of the site plan, but the site plan wasn't exactly technical. It was,
Wasn't to scale, it was very tight.
because this has been through before for a foundation.
Our assumption is the retaining wall in the back, along the back of the driveway, got put in to hold back the driveway. The small retaining wall coming off the back of the house
That one was an
placed some
issue.
fill there, I think, to get the foundation so it was less than 3 feet out of the ground. But they do abut the house.
Anything else? On that?
All that's going to be removed.
That outhouse has historical value, maybe.
I was always calling the shed, everybody keeps telling me it's an outhouse, I never looked in it, but.
You're welcome to come take a look. I was there when I purchased the property.
All right, can I have a motion for the checklist, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve the checklist for formal shoreline zoning application, Elizabeth and Katie Stokely, 10 Spruce Drive, map 36, lot 16, is complete.
A second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Anybody from the public wish to speak about this before we? I guess we'll go on to,
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the former shoreline zoning application for Elizabeth and Katie Slocum, 10 Spruce Drive, map 36, lot 16, just with no sidewalk and no public hearing necessary.
Second, please.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? I forget, Scott, do you care about me signing phosphorus, or you want you to sign the phosphorus?
You can sign it if you want, but I can sign it either way.
Yeah, I'll let you sign it. Don't want my name on too many things. So, everything's good to go? Come grab permits,
Thank you.
bring coffee, you know.
I'll bring coffee. I'll bring donuts, whatever you like. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Okay, perfect.
Just real quick, but, next is a formal shoreline zoning application for Michael and Tracy Lavoy, 16 Cardinal Lane, map 37, lot 14. Like Stewart's in the magic chair, so I'm presenting that one again.
So now, Got my plan there, sir?
Yes.
Got all about that, so I saw that. Thank you. Ready, Jim?
Give us
Yeah.
a good once over.
I'll tell you.
You can give us a quick scenario, how's that?
All right. Well, again, I'm here representing the Lavoys who have property on 16 Cardinal Lane, lot 14 in the town of Fulton, tax map 37. It contains 169,615 square feet, consisting of 205 feet on Cardinal Lane, 400 feet on Walker Point Road, and 439 shore frontage on Middle Rank Pond. And that's two is within the limited residential, and the back portion is the rural residential. Right now, the total impervious area is around 14,375.9 square feet, or 8.5% of the area. Where these are contiguous pieces of property, separate these, the contiguous piece, this piece down here in the bottom shows all the property that contains in this. So this colored chart shows the different impervious areas in different zones in this, and then everything outside of that. So it's, when we were only working with the shore lot, we were up to 20-some odd impervious area. By adding both, now we're down to 8.5. So what the boys are looking to do in the current house, there was a lot of permits on file that Scott supplied us, but everything was done mostly pre-89, except for this piece here was approved in 96 for this butt out on the house on this side. So what they look to do now, over here there was a deck, a set of stairs, small concrete platform, and a small retaining wall. They're gonna remove all that, and would like to fill this area in, and then this back corner of the house. taking away what's already there and then adding this in gives you a negative 5.7 square feet, less than what was there now. And they're just enclosing this in for more living space and I guess a closet was part of it too. But, yeah, I think that's what was submitted in your application. All the information, all the numbers pertain to that. Mr. Lavoy came in after we handed in the application and wanted to know if he couldn't take this little doghouse door here and remove that and square that off. So when I talked to Scott about this, can I present that tonight where we're negative 5.7 square feet on this whole project? This is gonna amount to about 20 more square feet. Over here on this side, including the eaves, just gonna square this corner off, bring it up to the finished floor, put a frost wall in here, bring it up to the finished floor, which is at 309 now, for another entrance. Right now, their only entrance into the house is through the back, either up these stairs or out the basement door. So this would be a second entrance for egress for them, become their main entrance. That's what they're looking to do. And that amounts to another 20 square feet we're adding to this. So I was in hopes of, you could approve this application, maybe include that little 20 extra square feet without having to go through this whole application again, just showing what they're doing. And I could present a plan to Scott and Sarah with this revision and the numbers.
It'll reflect all of that.
Yes.
Yep.
Without having to come back for that extra 20 square feet.
Right.
Because again, you take out the doghouse and the eaves and then add in this new little piece, it's almost a wash too.
And you're under
And again,
anyway.
none of this is getting any closer to the water, not creating any setbacks.
Plus 15. Plus 14, something like that. Am I remembering this as a lot that had consent agreements on for the living space in the garage? And that's all been straightened out? Everything's been situated, the select board signed off on that? That was my one concern, if that wasn't done, but I thought that was done.
No, it's done. It's
When Nick
recorded in
was
the
here.
registry.
Yeah, that was all recorded and everything was.
What was the consent agreement for what?
It had to do with creating a living space in the garage here for his handicapped daughter or something, and there was a big fluff all in that years and years and years ago.
Yeah, it's on actually on the plan.
Didn't actually see it on the plan.
7/8/85. And a consent agreement in 3/18/20. Well, that's not right.
That date can't be right.
No.
So, Jim?
The consent, second consent agreement date of 2024 can't be correct.
We can fix that too. Just revise that date. Scott, is that what you're looking for
Yeah,
on the plan?
it shows the original of 85, and then the second consent of 2024, but that was before I was here.
So do you have an issue with him adding that piece that he wants to in the plan tonight, as long as you reflect on the
I
plan?
don't have an issue as long as we get the site plan.
So, just to be clear, 'cause I'm confused. We're talking about this little weird doghouse dormer thing here, it's
Yeah.
almost like a window that
Yeah.
shines into the basement. You wanna basically get that, level that off, so that's gonna be an entry into the
Yeah,
house
into the
there
house.
instead of looping around.
Right up the flight of stairs.
Yeah, it's a weird access, I mean, it's weird. Was that for egress or something? That doghouse?
No,
I
it's a
think it's
bulkhead.
for- It's a bulkhead.
Oh, it was an actual bulkhead?
Yeah.
Bulkhead with a hobbit door?
I think he used it for firewood or something.
Yeah, that's all he did.
No, just chuck firewood down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
The only issue I had down there was, there's a temporary tent down the shore that covers those concrete pads and patios. That should probably be taken down.
I mean, a temporary can be up for X amount of days, correct?
Nothing, in structure definitions, nothing temporary or permanent.
Okay. I'm really thinking about this a lot temporary. Thinking of it can be temporary for a certain amount of time, but not within the shoreline, not within the setback. Anybody else? Anybody have an issue? Cheryl, you've been awful quiet. I don't know, school beat you down too much? or what? Yeah, I guess I'll go through the checklist. Did half a Carl at least on that one, so. Motion please for the checklist.
I can do that. I'll make a motion that we approve a checklist that complete for formal shoreline zoning application, Michael and Tracy Lavoy, 16 Cardinal Lane, map 37, lot 14.
Have a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor?
And this is, you want to make approval, okay, I'll.
Yeah, make the approval with the,
With that added.
with this little change, so it's in this change.
Make a motion that we approve the formal shoreline zoning application from Michael and Tracy Lavoy, 16 Cardinal Lane, map 37, lot 14, with the removal of that little doghouse, we can call it whatever, and no sidewalk and no public hearing.
New plan showing.
And the plan reflecting that change, the new set of plans.
And we want to condition the removal of that structure.
Yes.
Do what again?
Condition the removal of the structure out on the, over the patios.
Correct. We'll add that to the removal of the structure over the patio. That cover everything?
Yes.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Anybody from the audience have any concerns, questions, neighbors, just support?
This one.
All right.
I have
all-
a question about the removal of the sunshade stuff.
Yeah.
So the sunshade things need to come down?
Unfortunately, it's an impervious surface that's, you're covering over more than those patios cover right now, so and it's too close to the water.
Okay.
So we can't have any shade down there at all?
But you got trees. You can have an umbrella down there. That's
Okay.
what,
So,
that's like 16 by 30, 16 by 24,
What?
something like that patio, that canvas patio.
No, it's 13 by 25.
So it's a large area on the shore.
What's underneath it?
But it's covered in concrete with,
Well, not all, I mean, it covers both those concrete patios, but it's more than the patios combined.
So read between the lines, the patios are impervious.
yeah, that
Your
concrete.
your current structure that's over them is bigger than the concrete. It can't be bigger than the concrete, read between the lines.
okay.
Okay,
You understand?
I understand.
You
Well,
understand?
it comes the middle between two of them.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What we're saying?
So it can't go past the,
Yes.
I don't think it can be a structure either.
So once again,
we'll have to check it
go
out.
online,
Yeah.
look at this book,
I will.
look at what structure is. You know, I mean, I'm sure there are things that will fit your
Okay.
needs to get shade down there
All right,
that won't extend past the impervious areas and that will
Sure.
suit your
All right.
needs.
thank you.
And become creative, we're usually pretty.
Yeah.
That's. we can
All right,
do
so
that.
nobody need anything on that?
Umbrellas are fine, right?
What's that?
Umbrellas are fine?
Yes.
They make
Yes.
lovely cantilevered umbrellas in a
Yeah.
very large size.
Yeah.
Might have to do something like that.
All right, do we have
I made a motion and.
Did we have a second on
I seconded it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Did we
good.
vote on it?
No, we asked
No.
the audience, so all those in favor?
Yeah.
Well, seems like everybody's having fun out on the water this year, so congrats on that.
Well, it
thank you.
stops raining.
Yeah, for a couple days until the weekend,
Yeah.
so obviously.
Every weekend it rains.
Weekends.
Come grab your permits.
Rain this Saturday, days
I know.
for a week.
Gotta get anything done when you work all week and then the weekends you don't.
Take the week off.
You know who owned that property originally?
Yeah, your grandfather.
My great grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know where he got it from? The Rickers.
Oh, the Rickers?
My great grandfather's the one that bought that state of Maine building back from the Chicago World's Fair. He was their carpenter and their surveyor.
Huh,
All right, so we're gonna
that's, did you own that whole side? Or just
From
the outlet?
from the causeway down, all the way to almost to the dock side, he owned that whole side of the lake.
Wow.
all right, you guys can reminisce at another point, we're
Right.
getting closer, reaching out, so we got a few more things we need to deal with.
Anything else we need to do?
Yeah, come grab your permits and deal with Scott and Sarah, you should be fine going forward. All right, we got some findings here.
Oh,
Minor
yes.
subdivision.
Yes.
We gotta get our permit.
Now?
No,
No.
Oh,
Have to get permits.
well, I think it's gonna be right on top of this one. Have a good evening.
you do as well. Findings of fact for the minor subdivision of Rhonda and Gregory Mayer,
Gonna be a long summer.
0 Bakerstown Road, map 15, lot 8A, that was that small.
These are all-
Three
yeah,
lot
thank you.
subdivision.
Okay, thank you.
They haven't been signed yet, after the meeting.
Anybody have an issue on this one?
We can't do the mayor's, we don't have a quorum,
Oh, that's right, the main one, I did.
because John's not here. There are only 3 of you that night.
We're-
I was absent.
Oh, well, I have them out of order, that's why.
Okay, Mike,
So that one we're gonna table.
yes,
See, I had even written table on it, but they got
yep.
messed up, so I'll pass that down. All right, the finding of fact and conclusion of law for the general shoreland zoning application of Stephen and Monique Gorey, 138 Watson Road, map 35, lot 25.
I'll make a motion, we accept it as presented. Let me read it out. Open shoreline zone, Stephen Monique, Quarry, 138 Watson Road, map 35, lot 25.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? All right, I guess we can
Concludes that.
concludes all the business. We can go into anything coming up that we need to deal with, care about. Heather, you have anything you need to?
Nope, thank you.
Jim?
No, I'm good.
I think I'm good. George?
I just have a question, and you probably all know, I don't, but the Board of Appeals letter that was in the file, what is that for? It doesn't really say.
No, I'm required to notify the planning board 10 days in advance of the meeting that, and this is the only meeting that's 10 days in advance, that there's going to be a Board of Appeals variance appeal on a setback issue. They are too close to the setback already. They have a sunroom that they want to extend, if you will. It will go further into the setback by a foot. They want a variance from it instead of changing how they could rebuild it. That's the short version.
Okay. So it could come back to us?
Nope,
No, if they
No, it's
find,
not.
or
Nope, it's not in the
whatever they
shoreline.
find won't come back to us?
nope, nope. I'm just required to notify you and the code officer and the butters and,
Okay.
Did she sign this?
yes. You were a voting member at that meeting, so
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
When's your appeals meeting?
June 18th, it's Wednesday, 7 PM in this room.
So I got to bring one, so when would your next one, as soon as I end?
An appeal?
Yeah.
That is done on a case-by-case basis. There is a timeline, you can look at that. Once it's in and paid for, it's 30 days that I have to convene it. You get whatever date you get, and we go from there.
So if I get you something in June, we can have a meeting in July?
Potentially, yes. Obviously, taking out holidays and weekends and crap. Yes. Okay,
All right, Cheryl?
I just remember to vote June 10th.
yes.
Why? Of course it does.
Every vote counts.
All right.
or against.
Scott?
I'm good.
We do have both a meeting here on June 10th and voting on June 10th, 8 to 8. I will be here and there. We will also have a meeting on June 24th. So just keep that in mind.
So expect to be available during the times we say we're available.
Correct.
All right, I guess with that, I'll entertain one final motion.
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jesus, I thought we'd stay here all night.
I know.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.